When it comes to the mean, the first category says null hypothesis, mu is greater than or equal to a number like k. Your alternative hypothesis, which is the opposite of null hypothesis, says mean is less than k, so greater than or equal to. Remember to use a different color to make sure you know it is greater than or equal to. So equality belongs to null hypothesis. Category number 2, second category for the mean says, well, my null hypothesis, mu is less than or equal to k. Don't forget your equality, less than or equals to k. And our alternative, which is the opposite of less than equals to, says mean is greater than k. And the third category is mean, okay, is equal to k. Again, make sure you use a different color to know that equality belongs to your null hypothesis. And its alternative hypothesis, which is the opposite of null, mu is not the same as k. What about proportion? If we have proportion, it means that we have to change mean to p. So our first category says null hypothesis p or proportion is greater than or equals to a number like L. Alternative hypothesis, p or proportion is less than L. This is your first category. Very well, greater than or equal to. Again, emphasize on equality. Here, the second category says null hypothesis p is less than or equal to L. Less than or equal to L. And your alternative hypothesis, p is greater than L. This is your second category, of course. And the third category says, well, your p is equal to L, so null hypothesis, p is the same as L. Its opposite, p is not equal to L. Use a different color to make sure you know that equality belongs to null hypothesis. Well, what are the keywords then? Very good, excellent, excellent. Felisa, that's a great conclusion. Excellent, excellent. So, when we have greater than or equal to, so greater than or equal to, or if you see keyword at least, or if you see keyword not less than, not less than, it means that you're given your null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. What are other keywords? And this is your null hypothesis category 1. Null hypothesis category 1. So when you read an example and you see, okay, greater than or equal to or in the example, in the question, you see keyword at least, or when you see a keyword not less than, it means that your null hypothesis in category 1 is given. So you can quickly form your alternative hypothesis. So greater than or equal to, at least, not less than, null hypothesis, and it is category 1. Okay, perfect. If you see less than or equal to, if you see these keywords, so let me separate them. Less than or equal to. If you see, for example, at most, or if you see no more than, no more than in a question, it means that your null hypothesis in category 2 is given. Null hypothesis in the second category is given. Very well. What else? If you see equal to, exactly, so if you see these two, let me just put them in green color. And if you see is equal to, exactly, it means that your null hypothesis in the third category is given. So third category. And this is your null hypothesis. You can find all of these in page 1 of the note as well. As I mentioned before, on the back of this paper, we're going to create columns. We have to follow some steps to be able to make decisions about hypothesis testing. Well, we are on 7.1, Introduction to Hypothesis Testing. So what do we mean? Stating a hypothesis. How do we officially state a hypothesis? A statement about a population parameter. Remember that, population parameter. When you read and study math, you have to stop and you have to get back to what you already learned. Refresh your memory. What's a population parameter? A population parameter is numerical characteristic for the population. Numerical characteristic for the population. So what are those? Like the mean. Mean of the population is one of them, mu, or proportion, like p, or standard deviation, which was sigma, or variance, sigma squared. So a statement about a population parameter, either your mean, or proportion, or standard deviation, or variance, is called a statistical hypothesis. To test a population parameter, you should carefully state a pair of hypotheses, one that represents the claim and the other which is just its complement or the opposite. When one of these hypotheses is false, the other one must be true. Again, based on the data that you have. Either hypothesis, the null, or the alternative may represent the original claim. So, a null hypothesis, which is denoted by H sub 0, is a statistical hypothesis that contains a statement of equality as less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So this is less than or equal to. This is equal to, and this symbol is greater than or equal to. They are related to null hypothesis. 2, the alternative hypothesis, which is denoted by H sub A, is the complement or opposite of the null hypothesis. It is a statement that must be true if your null hypothesis is false and it contains a statement of strict inequality, such as greater than, as Felisa mentioned, less than or greater than. It means that they are not equal to each other, or just less than. So for your alternative hypothesis, the keywords is less than. There is no equality here. Not equal to, or just greater than. So let us separate these. The symbol H sub 0 is read as H sub 0 or H naught. And H sub A is read as H sub A. Null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. To write the null and alternative hypotheses, translate the claim made about the population parameter from a verbal statement into a mathematical statement. Then write its complement. For example, if the claim value is k and the population parameter is mean or mu, then some possible pairs of null and alternative hypotheses are, there you go. Here we have our categories. This one was our first category, category 1. H null or null hypothesis says mean is greater than or equals to K. HA alternative hypothesis says mu is less than K. This is our second category. Null hypothesis says mean is less than equals to K. Its opposite, mean is greater than K. And the last category, category 3, says null hypothesis, mean is equal to K. Alternative hypothesis, or the opposite of your null hypothesis, mean is not equal to K. Is not. Let us take a look at our table. This table is very helpful. Verbal statement about null hypothesis, mathematical statement, and verbal statement about alternative hypothesis. So here you have your null, here you have your alternative. So if you have a question, if you have an example, and you see keyword greater than or equal to, at least, not less than, it means that your null hypothesis is given and it says mean is greater than equals to K. What if you see less than, which is the opposite of greater than? What if you see below K, the opposite of at least K? What if you see fewer than, which is the opposite of not less than? It means that your alternative hypothesis is given. This one is given. Well, this is not working. Let us move on to second row. If you have keyword like less than or equal to, at most, not more than, it means that your null hypothesis is given in that example or in that question. What if you see the opposite keywords? Guys, this is greater than. It doesn't say anything about equality. Don't confuse these two. This is very important. Do not confuse these two. One of them has equality next to it. The other one doesn't have any equality next to it. That's why this one is the indication of your alternative hypothesis. So here we have greater than K, which is the opposite of less than or equal to K. Above K, the opposite of at most K. More than K, the opposite of not more than K. All of these indicates that you have alternative hypothesis. Okay, this is much better. And finally, if you have equal to, if the exact value is given, it means that E is hidden there. Exactly, it means that your null hypothesis is given in the question or the example. If you see the opposite keyword, not equal to, different from, not K, it means that your alternative hypothesis is given to you.